Hello. Hello, everyone. Jeff here. Hopefully you can hear me okay. Let me know in the comments if anything doesn't seem right. Where was I? There I am. Okay, I can see your chat now. Happy New Year. I hope everyone's having a great New Year and all that kind of stuff. I didn't really have an agenda for today. I just thought that I would pop on, the old, I was going to say television. And it kind of feels that way. I thought I'd just pop online. I'm just going to check the audio here briefly here. I'm just going to check. Yep, that's working just fine. So yeah, don't really have an agenda. Generally, I like to say that this is your time in a way. You know, you've got questions, something's coming up, singing, music related. I'd love to check it out. Love to talk with you about it, at least in terms of talking. As far as it goes is that you'll be typing and I'll be talking. Lots of new stuff today. I think I'm going to change my tack with a series. I'm a little concerned about the views on the channel. And I know I am not the instructor for everyone. And that's perfectly fine. By the same token, and I know that there's like this ebb and flow with the holiday season as well. Like, so maybe I'm overreacting, but I'm a little concerned about views and things like that. And so I think I'm going to start doing is I'm going to start alternating between series and then like warm-up video stuff. So my tentative plan here is I'm doing harmony for the month of January at least. I've got 3 or 4 harmony videos ready to go. So get some good practice there. And then I'm going to switch and do a couple weeks at least, 2, maybe 3 weeks straight up of warm-up videos. Maybe I ought to just do like the series with the theory, like here's how we do harmonies. And then do like 2 or 3 weeks of warm-up videos that are primarily focused on like applying those skills in the warm-up. That could be kind of interesting. I don't know. Let me know what you think about that in the chat or, elsewheres, whatever. Online in the comments, whatnot. I am going to do a series on counting. And I think I'm going to do a series on solfege. So a lot of like deep teaching coming at you this year, which I'm pretty psyched about. I always feel like I'm doing really good teaching when I'm doing solfege and counting, harmony singing too, because that's a very, in a lot of ways, more challenging, I think, than singing the lead parts. So I always feel like I'm doing really, really good teaching when I'm doing that kind of stuff. But I need to weave it into the warm-up videos as well, too. And I feel like I just had a year where I just didn't do a lot of warm-up videos, which is a lot of what I'm known for. So I want to make sure that I am doing that. But as I say, this is your time. I don't want to talk about my intentions for the channel moving into the new year, though. I will, if that's what you'd like me to do. I'd like to hear your thoughts. What's going on with you? How's your new year been? Do you have any holiday singing? What's the scoop? Can you see the snow? It looks way more dramatic, like because of the glare on the glass. Let me open the door and you'll be able to see it a little bit better. Actually, I don't think that changes anything, does it? It just makes it colder in here, okay? Anyway, I'm a barbershop tenor whose New Year's goal is to learn to sight sing. So that's on point for me. That's brilliant. I love it. How are you going to approach that, Kaz? What do you got going on? Like, what's the process that you're going to undertake? You should be able to like type in without issue, hopefully. Let me know. Sadly, I don't know if I'm able to change anything, but you should be able to just respond again. Let me know what your process is. Maybe you're already doing what I think you should be doing. I could put like, maybe I should play like a little hold music. If you would like to hold without music, please press 2. No. I acquired a bunch of books doing functional ear training on top of reading simple melodies. Can you be more specific? Like, what are you doing in the ear training books? Like, what's the process, right? Like, I can say, like that sounds good. That sounds good. And I don't mean to press you, but like the more specific you can be, the more that I can help you, if that makes sense. FYI, I mean, I am doing that because in truth, at heart, I'm probably maybe 13 years old. Oh, here we are. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Okay, good. Yeah. So, movable dough? That's a question. Are you working in the movable dough system? Good. Good. Yep. And then how much time are you spending reproducing those things that you're hearing in the app? So, like, if the app is like, here's your tonic, and then it's going, then how much time are you going, okay, cool. Now I've, destroyed my memory of that for the most part. Give myself a different key. Mi, fa, mi, re. I was singing the right note, but I played the wrong note. This is when you're grateful that I'm not your piano teacher. Do, right? Like, ear training, we need both listening ear training, which I would call dictation. Like, I hear what you're playing and then I can write it out, or at least, if you don't have to write it out, but then like I know what it is. It's mi, fa, mi, re, do, whatever, right? And then there's also active. Like, here's my root. I am now going to recreate this thing. Oh, I haven't tried key swapping. That's a good idea. Yeah, definitely key swapping. You want to, okay, what's my name, Nick? We're going to get to you in a second. But Kaz, by way of sort of wrapping it up, you want to disrupt your memory of whatever the melody was when you did it, like with the app or whatever. Like, if you're going to work on arpeggios, just to say, let's say we're going to do arpeggios, right, for ear training, and we're going to be singing them, and we're going to use solfege, all of which I highly recommend. You have to disrupt your memory of the thing, the melody, if you will, because that's basically what all this stuff is. They're all just melodies, very basic melodies. You have to disrupt your memory of it. Otherwise, you can very easily rely on your memory of those relationships instead of reconstructing the relationships with solfege and remembering those relationships between mi, between mi and do, or mi or do, mi, so, mi, do. Like those relationships are what you want to work on. So you don't want to just memorize the whole pattern. You want to be able to recreate them. So yeah, of course. So Kaz, happy to do a beginner solfege video. I have a couple that are on the channel already. I think it's a solfege or an ear training playlist. You might, if you look in the playlists for my channel, and I know there's a lot of them, but you'll find, I'm pretty sure it says ear training, and you'll find some beginner solfege exercises that do pretty much what I'm talking about here. But if you can operate a piano in any capacity, it doesn't have to be, you don't have to have super great facility. You can just do, mi, so, mi, do. Do, mi, so, mi, do. Always like disrupting your memory of the melody. What is my name? The long baritone warm-up that you have completely made me... That's wonderful. Such a proper warm-up for a whole range and help me develop. That's wonderful. Thank you for that. That's, of course, why I make these things. And wonderful. Wonderful, wonderful. Like, thank you for chiming in with that. Really appreciate it. That's all, Kaz. That's all you need. Like, that's all you need is, one note at a time. I am assuming here that you read music. Please correct me if I'm wrong. If you read music, again, you don't have to... Somebody wrote in Leonard Bernstein in one of the comments, because I said the same thing someplace else on the channel. You don't have to be Leonard Bernstein. You don't have to be, Paul Hindemith here to, that's a bit more esoteric, in terms of your note reading and all that kind of stuff. Just basic, oh, that's an A, that's a G, that's an F sharp. That's all you need. Yeah, I took piano for like half a decade. Perfect. That's more than enough. More than sufficient. You're good. You're good to go. But anyways, getting back to what's my name. Yeah, it's funny. I had you guys confused, or you people confused. Pardon me. Yeah, totally happy to do more solfege. That is absolutely coming. It will be a series. It will go from very, very beginner to slightly more advanced, but nothing super crazy. I'm not going to do modulations or anything like that, because most of the times when we modulate in popular music, it's like a hard and fast, zero pivot kind of modulation. So I'm not going to worry about that too much. I just want to say, like, I use the stream elements thing to try to do stuff, but it always makes me feel a little bit weird and cringe. So just ignore it. I really make those prompts for when I'm doing like bigger live events, but it's like one of those things where once you set it up, it's just kind of always running, and I forgot about it. But it is true. Like, if you want to get MP3s and PDFs and all that stuff, it's on Patreon, whatever. So cool. I'm gonna have a drink and chime in. If you're new, if you're just joining us this late morning here, or whatever time it is, wherever you might be. Pardon me. No, I forgot my train of thought. Whatever. Oh, right. The hold music from earlier? That's because a couple years ago I was diagnosed with vocal edema. Swelling on the vocal folds. I noticed it when my voice wasn't operating the way I had come accustomed to it operating, despite very, very specific practice. And so they scoped it out, and the doctor's like, yeah, you need to watch how much you talk because you're talking too much. So the hold music is so that I don't kill time by blabbing my mouth. So I'm looking at what's my name. I mean, sorry, I need to think about this. My instinct is to say you should switch it up to the lip trill in addition to the straw water phonation exercises. Like the straw thing is cool. I think it's cooler if you think about it more like a kazoo. It's not something that you're blowing through. It's something that is resonating along with the pitches that you're creating. Because my concern with so here's the thing with straw phonation. I think it's a cool semi-occluded exercise. I think for some people it probably works remarkably well. I think it gives you the impression that you're supposed to be blowing through the straw, and that's not really ideally how our voices work. Our voices work better when we focus primarily on creating subglottic air pressure behind the epiglottis. And the straw creates this temptation to want to like put air through it. And gosh, thank you so much for that, Jimmy. That was that popped up out of nowhere. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. So what is my name? Think about if you're going to use the straw in the water, think about it more as a resonating cavity. Maybe try switching up with a lip trill. Humming is good, especially if you do it with like a really, really light set of lips. So not so much, but my lips are just barely touching, right? And I don't know how well you can hear it, but if I were going to do that, I would be thinking in terms of vowels. So like A and ah. And then ah and o. You could, in theory, do any of my warm-ups, but instead of having your mouth open to do the vowels, have the lips lightly touching, let the jaw release down a little bit internally, so you almost have kind of like a little bit of a drawn face, but I'm exaggerating here so that you can see my face and what I'm doing, but think about having like just some space between the rear molars. And you could do that too. But again, like the lip trill. Put your hands on your face. This will make it easier to drop your jaw internally too. Any advice for better supporting your voice with your body when seated? Wheelchair user, so standing is out. Okay. So what the greatest asset of the lip trill, and this is sadly why many people stop doing it, is that you can tell very quickly when you are engaged and when you are not. The lip trill does help us learn a little bit about support, but not usually in the way that people think about it. People think about it as like a strength building thing or like a generic warm-up or something like that. The two greatest elements of the lip trill are observability, and because of its semi-occluded nature and the way that it configures the oral cavity, it makes the registration event very accessible, even if we haven't really figured out how to do it. So that the thing to do would be to, and I'm really sorry, like you if you can't do the lip trill yet, you might struggle with it for a while. And notice when it does happen, what that experience is like, and then try to maintain that experience in perpetuity. So like you'll hear a lot of people who say like, "Oh, I can get it going, but I can't sustain it." And they sound like or something to that effect. And then they're just humming. And this is nearly always that they're not maintaining enough engagement. You have to learn to kind of, and it's not just that you're going to keep it the same. Those muscles are going to work harder and harder and harder as you proceed through the warm-up. As you're getting air out of your lungs, you've got to lift higher, and so it feels like you're working harder to keep the lip trill going. So that would be one. If you're already doing that, then try the super lip trill. That is hands down the best exercise I have ever come across for sustained engagement or support, period. Like I do that in almost all my warm-ups. My personal warm-ups, like when I'm just warming up, here, getting ready for stuff. I'm doing that. It is so good at creating an abundance of engagement and expansion. Now, if you can't do either of those, then a second best is the RPTK exercise, which is also about articulators. So it's, pardon me. And that is like a gross motor skill coordination exercise. I am hammering that. It is not delicate. It is, I'm breathing between just about every articulation. So I'm using a ton of air. The greatest danger here is passing out. Don't pass out. If you start to feel lightheaded, stop and then try it again. And usually you do 2 repetitions of that. So like in a complete set of that exercise, and there you go. For those of you that are like, "Oh, I can't roll my R's." Why? Think about it for a second. Most of us are more similar than we are different. If you can't roll your R, it's some combination of muscle control and airflow management. Almost certainly. So, you might spend some time exploring that. Because again, I'm not saying that there aren't those of us that have some fundamental change in our body geography. But before you reach for that as like, "Oh, I just can't do this," explore it for a year, maybe a couple years, maybe more than that, In my private practice, in doing lessons for people, I have had many people tell me they cannot lip trill. Fewer people who can't roll their R's, but many, many who are like, "I just can't do lip trills." And guess what? I can think of one exception where we never got there in as sustained a capacity as I would have liked. They could do it inconsistently more than they ever could, but it wasn't as consistent as I thought would benefit their singing the most. But my thing here is question the why, like ask the why question. I talked about this a lot when I was getting ready for the new year. I think it's really valuable for us for our growth, to always be looking for that. Like, why is this? That was what that honestly, it was that question that led me on this path, because my voice wasn't working the way I was told it could and should. It just wasn't. And I'm like, well, why? Why are all these other tenors doing that, but I can't? One thing led to another, and here we are. Would you rather start a gentle warm-up with a head voice or a comfortable chest exercise? It doesn't really matter a lot of the times. Most of the time, it's usually chest voice, because if you're using head voice to mean like you can hear that it's head voice, I wouldn't be warming up that way. I would be warming up with voce, piana, intesta. By definition, that's a more more released way of using the voice. So if you're listening to someone, you're like, oh, that's clearly head voice, like it has that coloration, that affectation, that's a higher vocal fold engagement manner of speaking or manner of singing. And so I generally wouldn't do that. Now, there are reasons to do that, but in general, I wouldn't start there. Do you ever cover super lip trill? Yeah, it's in a couple of the Lip Trill Madness the Lip Trill Madness videos of mine. And yeah. What do I like to sing? Right now I am working on, if you've heard Sarah Bareilles' version of Goodbye Yellow Brick Road, I am working on her arrangement of that. And I'm also working, I can sing and play the Bob Dylan To Make You Feel My Love. I did that like years ago. I've been working on it lately, and I want to see if I can find an arrangement of that that's similar to Sarah Bareilles' Goodbye Yellow Brick Road. I was going to keep this a bit on the DL, but if you ever go to Twitch and you look for me, you will find that I do versions of songs every day on Twitch, where I'm just working through it and I'm practicing performing is what I'm doing. And so like I've gone across the map, like doing songs of mine that I've written, and then these covers that I've been talking about. Like today I went a couple times through the first verse and chorus of the Sarah Bareilles tune, trying to get up to speed on that. It's pretty raw. Like you know, I'm making a lot of mistakes, things like that. But it's something different. Yeah, for sure. Your beatboxing will definitely like step up a notch if you do the RPTK exercise. Your tip when I asked for how to protect my voice was don't do the damage in the first place. Was very helpful. Now I resist the temptation. That is the truth of the matter. Like, try to avoid. That's why, like I said about the hold music earlier, and I'm like trying to blab my mouth a bit less. Like, that's the main thing. Like, the best thing is to have a daily practice and try to avoid the damage in the first place. I can understand how that could come off as being somewhat, assy, and I assure you that is not my intent. I did? No, I didn't. I said that, Jimmy. I said that earlier. Oh my goodness! I didn't realize it was a question. Thank you. Oh wow. Goodness, so sorry, Jimmy. Thank you for Wait a second. Did someone else? No, that's Jimmy. Okay. Okay, so first of all, I almost did a cruise ship and then I didn't. I had friends who did. I don't know what your practice situation is, but it was pretty bleak for the friends of mine that were off on ships. Like, they were basically like trying to practice in broom closets, and like literally one guy was telling me that like he would have to move the mop bucket and there was like one light hanging on a string. So keeping my voice healthy. All right. So man, I'm like not, It's a good thing I wasn't the cool kid in school because I'm not winning any popularity contests anymore these days anyways. If you drink, you might question that. Because it's going to, alcohol affects your fine motor skill coordination. This is also going to affect your recovery from night to night. If you are having vocal issues already, I would start with that. If you smoke, it would be great if you could switch that out too. I realize how difficult that is. And I have no idea like where you're at with these things, but starting from some like baseline things, if you can remove those from the equation, that would be ideal. Watch how much you're talking when you're off stage. A lot of times, like when I've done live shows in the past, it's like 6 shows a day, 6 days a week. It's a heavy workload. I don't know what yours is like, but if that's what you're doing, then try to limit your singing or your speaking in between gigs, especially if you're talking on the phone or on the computer. If you can't limit that, then try to have some type of monitoring system working up. So like you hopefully you can't hear it, but I have monitors in here where I can hear this microphone in the room with me. It helps me to modulate how like much I'm trying to talk to the mic. Daily practice is essential. If you can, and again, like if that means standing in the broom closet for 20 minutes while you do vocal warm-ups, and I mean specifically vocal warm-ups, not the repertoire, then that's something as well. Vocal rest is important. On your days off, a good amount of vocal rest. Watch your talking in between gigs. Watch your talking on the phone. Use monitors if you can. The other stuff too, like hydration. If you're still having issues, you might want to take a really careful look at what you're eating and how it's affecting your voice. If you are finding that you're getting like a heavy mucus presence will be a clue. Taking myself, for example, your experience may be different. I like hot sauces, like sriracha or different things, ghost chili pepper, stuff like that, right? I know that I have had too much when my voice won't clear after a normal set of vocal warm-ups. I know that I've had too much the day before or today, and I need to like cut it out, right? So look for things in your diet that might be contributing to the mucus if it's still not clearing, if you're getting a heavy mucal output. Dairy might be a factor as well. For me, one of the things that is really terrible for my voice is green tea. Like, don't know why, but for me, it just does not work. So I don't drink green tea if I have to sing or speak at any length at all. Period. Coffee, though, is fine. Where's Jimmy? Jimmy's chiming in here. Oh, that's funny. I was just talking about that. What is my name? Okay, well, yeah, water is like the universal solvent, right? Room temperature, ideally. Check the mineral. You might want to notice like the mineral content of wherever you're getting your water from. On a cruise ship, you don't have much of a choice, but maybe you'll have to think about some filtered water or things like that. I hope you got that, Jimmy. I hope you're still here. If not, like circle back around. Jimmy, let me know if you're still here. Yeah, I was definitely going to do some more warm-up stuff. Any advice for really early morning singing, like 30 minutes after I got? Take it slow. Jimmy's still here. Thanks, Jeff. I appreciate the help. Okay, good. Got my own cabin. This is nice. Fairly big. That's amazing. Yeah, 3 or 4 sets, 45. Yeah, exactly. Like we were about half an hour, 6 shows a day, half an hour each, 6 days a week. It's brutal. But that's sounds ideal. So really, really good. But yeah, we're talking about food a bit more. there is no generic this food is bad. Maybe smoking, maybe alcohol, I suppose, but people swear by it, whatever. So, it's what you're trying to, it's the conjunction, it's where things meet, right? Like, if you need this from your voice, but this, like for me, I'm singing all over the place. I need to have a really smooth secondo passaggio for demonstration and singing purposes. Plus, it's what I like artistically. For my body type, alcohol is inconsistent with that practice. Hot sauce is inconsistent with that practice. Green tea is inconsistent with that practice. So you have to look at your diet, what typically affects you. What are you singing? What are the requirements of what you're singing? And do these things work together? If not, then how important is it to you? Maybe having the hot sauce 3 times a day is the most important thing. And you know what? That's awesome. That is cool. Then do that. Don't stress about it. But for me, it's not worth it. I mean, but like if you look at what I'm doing here, like it should be kind of obvious, the choice I'm going to make. I make this YouTube channel to serve the singing community and to serve myself in my own understanding of my voice and how it works, so that I can get the most from my own artistry as well. So I always feel like we're in it together. And for me, it's an easy choice. That's like, for what it's worth, I haven't made like a big deal about this, but I'm 10 years sober. I wasn't an alcoholic, but I quit drinking because it was inconsistent with my vocal practice. Didn't used to seem to make a difference, but then it did, because our bodies change as we age too. So things that maybe didn't matter 10 years ago might start to matter. And then you have to make a choice. Always choices. But thank you all for being here. I gotta go. So thank you all for everything. Thank you, Jimmy, for your kind super thanks. I really appreciate it. Follow up with me. If you want to follow up in the comments of this video, please do. I know it's a short one. I know it was unannounced, but I do enjoy getting to chit chat with everybody, and I kind of like it when I've done live events where they were more anticipated and where we had 80 some odd people in them. This I like this more. This is nice. I get to help, which is good. So anyway, thank you all for checking out this video. Thank you for your questions. Thanks for being here. I hope I have helped, and we'll see you around next time. Okay, take care. Bye.